So this is the iPhone 14 Pro Max. And if you've been subscribed to the channel, you know that for the past year, I've been using the iPhone 13 Pro Max as my main device. And actually it's recording right up here. So my top down shots and my A-roll is pretty much taken with the iPhone 13 Pro Max. Goes to show that you can rely on the iPhone 13 Pro or just an iPhone in general to start producing content. So thank you all so much for subscribing to the channel. But in today's video, I'm going to be discussing about why I'm switching from the 13 Pro Max to the iPhone 14 Pro Max. There's going to be some questions like, you already have a really good phone. Like, why are you spending the extra $1,000, $1,200, whatever it is, to pick up a new device? I mean, there isn't really substantial upgrades, but there is some upgrades that make it useful for me to, make the switch to the iPhone 14 Pro Max. So I'm going to be discussing those with you guys, and maybe if some of those are reasons for you, then maybe you can potentially pick up the iPhone 14 Pro or 14 Pro Max. So without further delay, let's dive right in. Okay, so the main reason why I switched to the iPhone 14 Pro Max is not because I am reviewing tech on the channel. I could have just went ahead and picked it up, taken 2 weeks to review this device and just returned it and continued with the 13 Pro Max. That was an option, but I didn't do that. I didn't do that. Why? Because the main upgrades for me with the 14 Pro Max was the camera. It finally got the upgrade from 12 megapixels to 48 megapixels. And you can tell from the camera lenses, it is much larger than the 13 Pro, which was larger than the 12 Pro, which was larger than the 11 Pro. It just gets larger every year. But it went from 12 megapixels to 48 megapixels. That was a huge plus. So now if you want to shoot 48 megapixels, you're going to have to shoot in RAW. So do remember that. And if you're not going to shoot 48 megapixels, or if you're not going to edit all of your photos, I wouldn't even say, shoot in RAW. But if that's you, then if you're going to edit, then I would say shoot in RAW. So you do have that option. But obviously, as you can tell, I am using it to record videos. And when iPhone debuted cinematic mode last year with the 13 Pro Max, I really did like it. However, cinematic mode, 30 frames per second, it doesn't really make sense because cinema film is shot at 24 frames per second. So this year, Apple went ahead and they introduced 4K, 24 frames per second. So if we go down to camera right here, record cinematic, 4K at 24 frames per second and 4K at 30 frames per second. Awesome. So now I can record cinematic mode videos at 24 frames per second and in 4K. But overall, just I am able to rely on this camera wherever I go. Like, let's say if I went on a trip, which I recently did earlier this year, I just brought with me the 13 Pro Max. I didn't bring my Sony A7 Mark III, and when I needed to take some videos, I was all set to go. It was more than enough. It was capable of taking the videos that I wanted. The results are exactly what I wanted. So I can rely on the iPhone camera. That's one of the main reasons why I decided to switch and make the upgrade to the 14 Pro Max, because I'm going to make use of the camera upgrades that Apple has implemented. There is an action mode in the 14 Pro Max. I have yet to kind of implement that into my videos because I'm not really too, active, at least on screen. Like, I'm not taking action videos on screen, so we're gonna have to try it out. But camera was a huge reason why. Another reason is probably going to be the fact that was the price. Now, why are you saying price? I mean, it's $1,100, $1,200 depending on the storage model you get. Well, I was able to, sell my iPhone 13 Pro Max and get a pretty good deal. So instead of, paying $1,200, I was able to get this at a much lower price. So that was also a huge plus because of price. Another one is going to be display. Display, I think, is the most important thing that you use in a phone. So I think it should be really good and exceptionally well performing. iPhone 14 Pro Max does just that. They finally got rid of the notch, and maybe you can't tell from right here, there is a pill-shaped cutout, and I like it. So Apple implements software, and you can see right now it's locked. So it's using software implementation to kind of cover the gaps in between the Face ID and the camera cutout. So when I turn it on, and it's not as noticeable with my wallpaper, but there you go. So let's say we go to the home screen. If we look straight ahead, you can see it's just like a black pill-shaped cutout. And Apple does use software to implement like notifications, status indicators, all that stuff. So let's say if I wanted to record a screenshot, there you go. And this actually came in really useful. I was screen recording a couple days ago, and this just came in super clutch because now I know in 3, 2, 1 it's going to start, and I can see it from the pill shape. The dynamic island is what Apple calls it. So there's that. Let's actually turn that off. There we go. And then another thing is, if you're going to be using this outdoors, it gets super bright. A max brightness of 2000 nits. Super bright. I have yet to use it in max brightness outdoors, but knowing that I can use it at that brightness, because the max brightness on the S22 Ultra has come in really clutch, especially in the summer days when I need to use it outside. I know that I can rely on the 14 Pro Max. There might be some questions as to like, why didn't I pick it up for this and that, or battery, for example. Well, obviously Apple did add some really cool features like always on display. I'm probably going to end up turning it off after I have extensively tested it, see how it truly affects my battery life. Because so far it's been good. Like, it's been great. It's been lasting me all day, but not at the same level as my 13 Pro Max. And surprisingly, my 13 Pro Max, which is recording right up here, is still at 100% battery health. So there is that. It's performed like a beast. The entire year lasted me, 2 days at most times. So it's coming really clutch. And I only charge my iPhones through MagSafe now. I don't even use the Lightning port. I use my AirPods with a wireless charger too, so I don't need to worry about using the Lightning port. But battery life was not one of the reasons why I upgraded. If that was the case, I could have just kept the 13 Pro Max and continued with that. And knowing that Apple added always on display, a higher brightness, that might sip some more battery through the 14 Pro Max, so that wasn't a reason why. But it still has really good battery life. It still performs really good. I'm just going to share with you guys my full extensive results in my full review, which is going to come in a couple of weeks. So stay tuned to the channel, subscribe if you haven't already. But honestly, for those who ask me, is it worth the upgrade? It is. That is if you have an older model like the iPhone 11 Pro and older. Even if you have the 12 Pro, I don't think it's, you don't need to upgrade, especially if the 13 Pro. Just skip this year and maybe wait for the next year. But those who have an iPhone 11 Pro, Pro Max or older, then you're going to see some significant upgrades in battery life, significant upgrades in the camera, significant upgrades in the display. So that's really it. iPhone 14 Pro Max is a large device and it's not for everyone. But for those who use the Pro Max model, you know why you use it. You have your reasons why you use it. And if you think that this is going to enhance the way you use your iPhone, it's just going to make your life easier, which for me in some cases it does, then make the switch. Make the switch to iPhone 14 Pro Max, because it's still truly a great device. Apple has been doing really well, and I hope they continue to perform really well with their Pro models, at least. Not talking about the regular ones. The Pro models are performing like a beast. iPhone 15 rumors, iPhone 15 Pro rumors are already starting to pop up. So it looks like we're going to be getting some pretty good stuff, but that is for a different video. Let me know if you want to hear some rumor videos about the iPhone 15 and 15 Pro down in the description or down in the comment section below. That's been it for me. I hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, be sure to superman that like button, comment down below, and best of all, share this video because it really does help out the channel a lot. It will help push my videos out to more people. And also be sure to check out my latest wallpaper pack. It's called Illusions. I really do like this. This is probably one of my favorite wallpapers. I'm still learning how to create more, and there's definitely more wallpapers coming soon to the channel. So be sure to check my other wallpapers in the description down below. But that's really been it for me, and I'll catch you guys in the next episode.